Good morning, everybody. Thank you ever so much, Wendy, and thank you, everybody, for inviting me here this morning. I'm delighted to be speaking. My name's Will Norman. I'm Sadiq's Walking and Cycling Commissioner. My job title pretty much is one of those ones that does what it says on the tin. It is essentially to get more people walking, more people cycling in London. And today, I want to talk a little bit about how walking and cycling contributes to a sustainable city, both in an environmental aspect of sustainability, but also in terms of an economic perspective. Now, I end up reading an awful lot of transport strategies and some pretty fascinating documents outlining transport objectives from cities all around the world. Earlier this year, the Mayor launched his long-term plans for transport in the capital, the Mayor's transport strategy. And I think, having read all these other documents, I think this is not only the most ambitious transport strategy that London has ever published, it's certainly up there for those transport strategies around the world. And the reason why it's so ambitious is the goal that it sets at its very heart, which is a significant shift a significant shift in the way that we move around our city. A shift from the way our city has been designed for around the car for the past 100 years to more sustainable modes of transport. At the moment, about 63% of our journeys in London every day are done by walking, cycling, and public transport. The goal of this transport strategy is to shift that to 80% over the 25-year life of the strategy. And to give you some idea of the scale of this, we are facing monumental growth in London. Over the next 25 years, there will be almost 2 million more new residents living in the city. That, to give some sort of context of 2 million residents, that's like adding the city of Birmingham and Glasgow to London as it stands at the moment. And that will be an extra 6 million extra trips every day. But only by doing that transformation to more sustainable modes of transport, walking, cycling, and public transport, we will be able to keep London moving and keeping London's air clean. It's also one of the few transport strategies that puts public health at its center. London, like all cities around the world, faces an inactivity crisis. Only about 30% of Londoners are physically active, according to the World Health Organization, and that goes down to only 20% of kids in London. We have the most inactive kids in the country, and no doubt one of the most inactive generations of kids that have ever lived. Travel is the easiest way for Londoners to build physical activity into their everyday routines, and the strategy aims for every Londoner to achieve 20 minutes of physical activity every day by 2041. And the health benefits of this are huge. But also road safety is a significant driver in this. Every year, sadly, 2,000 people are killed or seriously injured traveling on London streets. For far too long, these road incidents have been considered acceptable. This changes. The strategy that we've got embraces what we're calling a Vision Zero approach, where no death on our roads or serious injury on our roads is considered acceptable or inevitable. To achieve these benefits, we need to transform the way our streets look, the way they look, and the way they feel. We need to make them pleasant, accommodating places for people to walk and cycle. That's why we're investing record amounts in London streets through our Healthy Streets portfolio, which is over £2 billion over the next 5 years. That is building new cycle routes, creating livable neighborhoods, creating safer junctions. The benefits of this investment will include a healthier population, cleaner air, less road danger. But what's often forgotten about when we talk about these schemes, and what I think we need to be talking much more about, is the economic benefits of creating better streets. As everyone in this room knows, London is a global economic hub, attracting businesses and workers from all over the globe. No matter what happens with Brexit, that is going to continue. London generates an annual GDP of around £565 billion and is the engine of economic growth in our country, contributing around 20% to the national economy. London is one of the most productive places in the UK, and its success supports the success of other towns and cities across the country. And when we're talking about London's economic success, we are not just talking about big business. We can't forget the high streets. There are over 600 high streets around London, and every Londoner lives within a 10-minute walk of one. Outside the centre of London, over half of London's jobs are on the high street, and 2/3 of London's developable land is on or near one of these high streets. However, London is facing real challenges, and we can't take this success for granted in the future. There isn't just the uncertainty of Brexit. It's about how we face up to the challenges to come of being a growing modern city. More people are living and working here means more trips, and if those trips are made by car or taxi, that means more congestion and worse air quality. If we don't do anything about this, it will make it harder for businesses and will put off talented people moving to London. As shopping habits and technologies change, we need to future-proof our high streets in our city to make sure that they are places where people want to go to spend time and to spend money. There's an awful lot that needs to be done at all levels of the economy in London. Making it easier to walk and cycle in the capital is going to be fundamental to achieving this. Today, Transport for London and the Mayor's Office are publishing a number of studies and resources highlighting this evidence, because we want to equip everybody with the tools to make the economic case for improving our city and making it and enabling more Londoners to walk and cycle as part of their daily lives. For instance, Waltham Forest, one of the boroughs in northeast London, and TfL have invested over £30 million to transform the local streets for more walking and cycling. This investment is about getting clean air, getting people more active, kids living longer, but it's also about revitalizing the area and getting more people to spend more time in their local shops, restaurants, and businesses. I'll give you an example of how this has changed. This is Orford Road, home to some great local businesses and had huge potential. But as it stood, it was traffic-dominated and congested and not a pleasant place to spend time. This is Orford Road today. It's been transformed for walking and cycling, and for the first time in 15 years, it doesn't have a vacant shop. The businesses on this high street have been featured in Time Out. 94% of the visitors said in that piece that they are likely to highly recommend visiting it. It's on the map and it's thriving. This research reinforced the work done by walking charity Living Streets, which found that the high street walking and cycling public realm improvements can increase retail sales by over 30%. And we've seen this positive impact happening again across London. So there was some recent research by UCL that was published today that looked at 5 town centres that have been improved for walking and cycling. Places like Hornchurch, Bromley, Woolwich. The findings of that study are really eye-opening. You've got a 96% increase in people walking on the streets, 216% increase in people stopping, sitting, and socializing in these areas, and a 17% decrease in the retail vacancy in the improved areas. And many of London's businesses are beginning to reap these benefits. We asked the University of Westminster to survey London's business improvement districts on our behalf. 85% of them said that cycling was important to business performance, and 95% said the same for walking. The bids told us that this is about creating vibrant, thriving places, but they also told us that it's important for attracting and retaining staff. And it's this point about attracting and retaining staff that is so crucial. Cities are competing from around the world. Cities around the world are competing. Cities are competing on quality of life. And if we can't offer it, people will choose to live elsewhere. We need to keep London's talent pool strong. And that means making it a place where people want to live, people want to stay, people want to bring up their families. By 2025, 75% of workers will be millennials. And these people, we know from the evidence, they don't want to drive, they want to walk, they want to cycle. Our city needs to be fit for purpose for them, or we will lose them and they will live elsewhere. It's no surprise that when TfL consulted on major segregated routes in central London, over 180 chief executive officers came forward to support the plans. Businesses from Deloitte to Microsoft, Financial Times to Universal Music told us that how the new cycle routes would help them attract and retain their staff. Encouraging people to walk more and cycle more is key to boosting productivity as well. which is one of the major economic challenges facing the UK, and which is why we're, I think, second from bottom in the G7 in terms of productivity. People who live active lifestyles take 27% fewer sick days than their colleagues. Walking and cycling is already saving the economy millions, and if we made it easier and enabled more Londoners to do it more often, London and the UK would reap the benefits. And it also makes our streets more productive by moving more people. As I said, London's population is going to grow to 10 million people by 2041. That, as I said, is generating 6 million extra trips. Imagine if we continue on the same path that we have today. We need our streets to change, we need them to work more efficiently, and we need to use them use them smartly. This street is Blackfriars Bridge. It's actually part of my commute to work. And when we installed segregated cycle lanes on this bridge, we found that more people were cycling, but we also found that across all the modes of transport, the bridge was using more people in total, 5% more people in total once you put in the protected cycle lanes, and people use a more environmentally and efficient mode of transport. But finally, I want to touch on one of the most important things about walking and cycling, that they will help more people to enjoy the benefits of London's success. Walking and cycling are virtually free. It costs £7,000 a year to run a car in London. A decent bike can cost you anything, you can get a decent bike for 250 quid. More people walking and cycling means more people can get to their jobs in the local town centre, they can get more jobs and enjoy the benefits of London's economy. They'll also enjoy the benefits of improved health. Poorest people in London are those who do the least physical activity. And simply by walking and cycling by 20 minutes each day can have drastic benefits to people's health. And because if everybody did that in London every day, 20 minutes, that's 2 chunks of 10 minutes as part of your day, the NHS would stand to benefit of up to £1.7 billion in London over the next 20 years. Now, all of this evidence, and much more drawn from projects in London and cities around the globe, can be found on a new evidence hub that TfL launched today. The evidence is really clear. An active city is a more competitive city. We are absolutely committed to transforming the way we move around our city. That is why we're investing £2 billion over the next 5 years through our Healthy Streets portfolio, improving the streets for pedestrians, building hundreds of kilometres of cycle track, making our junctions safer, and enabling more Londoners to make the switch to greener, cleaner transport. And one of the key reasons why we've brought all this evidence together is that we need more people to be using it to make the case. This isn't just about Transport for London or the Mayor's office. This is all about boroughs or cycle campaigners. It's about getting that evidence into business leaders, in the hands of business leaders, to startups, to small, medium enterprises. It can't just be the transport authorities and the likes of me talking about this. Who's going to listen to someone who's got a job title of Walking and Cycling Commissioner telling them that it's good to walk and cycle more? It's not really, I'm not the person who's going to be able to do this. It is about having a diverse group of champions using the evidence to lobby government, to make the case to other businesses, to build a groundswell of support that we will need to continue to transform London to more walking and cycling and reap the economic benefits that I've talked about. I want to thank you so much for your time today and the opportunity to speak. All that evidence and the portal is online. I would encourage you to use it, share it, and have a look through it in detail. But I know that by working together, and why this is so exciting to be at Urban Partners, it is a good example of how all aspects of our communities, businesses, local government, local communities, can work together, and together we can make our city greener, cleaner, healthier, and even more successful for all Londoners. Thank you very much.